Yo, what is up, my friends? Good morning. Hey, I still make flow, so seamless. Started from the bottom at a... I wonder what he says right there. Maybe we should do like maybe we should figure out what the words to our song say. Maybe they say good stuff. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to episode 51. That's right, we're back with more Mace education. Today we're going to go a little bit of a different way, though. I want to introduce you guys to some of my favorite maces to use and just kind of give you some education on the things that I love about mace. You know what I'm saying? Anybody else? Boom, here we go. And actually, today's a good day. We got a new mace. I think this mace has been around for a while, but and we actually might have some more mace coming in, but today I want to get into some mace conversation. What's up, y'all? Yo, Blind Lemon, good to see you. Welcome to the chat. Welcome to the room. Man, it's been a bit. Let me kill the music, man. Let me just kill the music. Eric, what's up, y'all? Guys, listen, I've been MIA. Let me tell you what had happened is, man, I had got some crazy allergies, man. Has anybody seen my coffee? That's it. Show's over. I'm fucking gone. Can't do this without a coffee. Where's my coffee? Take man, good production value around here is going down. It's like that. Okay. Okay. Yeah. Uh-huh. Mhm. Mhm. Yeah, and don't let it happen again. Okay. Otherwise, forward down, forward high punch to your chin. Disaster averted, y'all. We got the coffee. Good morning, y'all. Oh yeah, now it's a good morning. Ooh, did you guys see me without my coffee? That's like a little grumpy Gus right there, man. Tell you what, man, someone's about to get fired around here. Guys, listen. I broke out. Well, not all of the mace. I broke out most of my mace, and I wanted to give you some. Damn, we might need to start this one again. I'm having some rough coding going on. Hmm. Yeah, let me stop this and guys, sorry about that. I think I started this on the wrong channel. I'm getting some weird lag. Well, I think it fixed, so maybe that's good. That's good. Okay. Are we? I think it's going good. Let me refresh this. Sorry, guys. 1 second. Man, I feel like I'm really out of practice. Anyways, guys, I got some stupid, crazy allergies. I've been having like 3 hours a night sleep, 4 hours a night. I've been trying to get over that. I finally got over it a little bit, and I'm back. And we're gonna drop episode 51 today. We're gonna go over a Mace review. I often get asked what, where, when, why. Why do you use that mace? Why is that mace so important to you? What is the deal? And I got to tell you, I'm very honored that people give a rat's. Wait, this will be positive. Positive stuff. I'm excited that people care about my opinion on steel mace. And so I think the show should have some climax. What do you guys say? We should probably just start with the mace that everybody knows about and then move on from there. And we can talk about some of the things we do like and love about our mace. I know there'll be some questions asked. Where do I get one of those? Listen, there is not a link in the description on where you can get these mace. All right? This is the goddamn 21st century. If you can't figure out how to use a Google by now, probably, uh, you know, that sounds like another, we need a whole nother show for that. Maybe we should start with our crazy mace, though, huh? Maybe we should start with our crazy ass mace. You know what? Let's start with some crazy ass mace. How's that sound to you guys? And listen, we're just going to be talking about the differences between the mace. Very important before I get into this, let me preface this conversation a little bit. I've not participated in the land of steel mace flow, I think for the year, and maybe a little bit more than that. And I'll tell you why is a lot of the arguing and the bickering that has gone on about who's right, who's wrong. And I got to tell you, Instagram has become a very unstable platform for my mental health. So I've just stayed away from it because there is quite a bit of negativity. And most of that negativity surrounds around people pretending they made up Steel Mace Flow, the moves, the flows, yada yada. And I often think about at night what would have happened if we would have all worked together. When I originally created Steel Mace Flow, it was so that everybody could have a place to practice everything without any discrimination. I never did a Steel Mace men's group or a Steel Mace women's group because I didn't want there to be any exclusion. I wanted everybody to have a place to mace along. And I have had some people get upset at me because they didn't make the Steel Mace Flow education team with, practicing like a year or 2 months or 3 months. I've had people demand to be on the Steel Mace Flow education team. And, when they were told that they still need some more time to mature, very often what happens is somebody goes out and creates their, you won't let me be part of the team, I'm going to create my own. And I often wonder what would have happened if we would have just all worked together in this goal of creating Mace Flow instead of coming up with, uh, whatever the thing is. And so today I'm going to use many a different mace, many a different mace, and I'm going to tell you the very positive things about them. While it is easy for a Steel Mace Flow person to say why they don't like particular maces, and it's usually based on skill and available technique, we're going to sway away from that conversation. And I, as one of the leaders of Steel Mace Flow, our mace community, would love to tell you, you should do the same thing, man. You should make everybody feel the love. Remember why you came to Steel Mace Flow, right? You wanted to develop yourself. You saw something cool. You saw yourself doing that cool thing, and then you got in, and then you started figuring out that there was divisiveness, that certain people liked certain mace and certain people didn't like certain people, and you better not mention Leo's name in Mace Flow community. Can you believe that? My name is X-rated in Mace Flow. Don't say Leo's name. Use his moves, use his landmarks. Don't say his name. I'm like Lord Voldemort. Feels pretty cool to be Lord Voldemort. All right, let's get into it. Now, the first mace I'd like to bring up here. This is a homemade gata. A gata is, as described, a wooden stick, mostly bamboo, a bamboo shoot, and then a stone. And matter of fact, the stone that is put on top in this one is spherical. It's round, like a little baby head. And often, whenever you see a true gata, the stone is not circular in shape, but this is stylized so it can be extremely straight. But a gata, arguably, is not a mace. They might look like it. They might both go in your hands, but there are some differences. Typically, Agata is a very big stone. However, my friends who made this for me, Bill and Steph Sorensen, know that one of my favorite maces to use is a 10-pound mace, and so they made me this 10-pound Agata with, check this out. You can't see it, but there's some glitter on the inside, and so it rains a little bit of glitter. But typically, moves on the mace and moves on the gata differ because of the structure. Oftentimes, the stone is so heavy and the stick is so light that it makes it difficult to do particular mace moves and not have the handle pop or snap. You can imagine if I had a 50-pound stone on here and I was doing moves like the press, the stick might have some issues. And so what I would, Wolfgang, what the deal is, hi ho. But this is a gata. A gata typically has a pretty long handle. And let's talk about some of the things I absolutely love about this particular 10-pound gata. One of the things that, first time I ever swung this, one of the things I absolutely loved about it was the patience that I had during my swing. It took what seemed like a lot longer to complete a 360 because the length of the mace. And so, one of my very favorite things about this mace is how long it takes to get back into its starting position. One of the things I really like about this mace is stabilizing the mace with the bulk of the weight. You can't even see it. Now, typically the gata is not swung in 360s, but swung in 10 and 2s. I like the 360 because it helps you flex your pecs. Whenever you're in this front-centered position, there's a little bit of a flex going on in the chest to help isolate. And it seems like if I just do 10 and 2s, I take away from pec minor, but who cares, okay? If you go all the way through, you get to hit the pec minor. Now, because I do believe in unity, the gata, or this particular gata, I don't want to hit my fan, because of the weight, the lightweight, I can do moves like the mill, or bullwhip, or bullwhip mill. You can flow, you can swing, because it's light. This is a great mace. I absolutely love this mace. I don't spend enough time using it. This is a mace that I need a little bit more room to use. And so typically I take this mace outside or in my garage where I have a little bit more clearance. But we absolutely love our 10-pound gata. Now, how did they make this? This is what seems like a yard rake. From what I understood, they drove some nails through the mace or screws and then dipped the mace in a glass vase. They poured the cement in there, making the stone, and the nails helped the stone hang on. And after that, they popped the glass and had this beautiful spherical shape. I've seen a ton of people make gatas and use tons of different heads, glass vases, bowls, you name it. And so I've seen some really neat shapes on these mace. There was a guy named Will, and Will was the first person I can think of that made gatas. And he did not want to sell them because he was worried about the handle popping and somebody getting hurt. So he was like very low key making them and selling them. However, Bill and Steph Sorensen have made a ton of their own equipment and sent them around to the mace community. I saw a video from the Flowing Dutch guy. How do you do it in India? From the Dutch guy. How to do it in India. Yeah, Flowing Dutchman is an original student of Steel Mace Flow. He was completely inspired by the work of Leo Savage. He is a great mace pioneer. And there is a ton of information about making gatas. I would say that if you make your own gata, it is, depending on the weight, it might be limited to, well, the weight and the construction, it might be limited to movements. Anyways, if you guys haven't made your own gata, I think it's something fun. I think it's something that you can do. And it's great to have a little art piece around the house. One of the first mace, well, yeah, I remember training a guy, and he was a steel worker. He forged metal, yada yada, but he ended up making me a very beautiful mace as a gift. It is such a neat thing to give somebody a mace gift. Boom. And so this is a lightweight gata. Swing ability on that guy, I'm going to give it a 10, an absolute 10 because of the light weight of it. I'm going to give the flow ability also a 10. You can flow with that guy super hard. Meditative facet, absolutely going to grade that guy a 10 as well. You can really get into your swings because of the long pendulum effect of the swing. You just have extra time to think, extra time to feel. Definitely going to rate that a 10 out of 10. The grip on there, because it's wooden, your hands aren't meant to slide. So as far as holding on to the mace, your hands definitely stick until you get sweaty. And then if you've ever been sweaty on a wood floor or been on a wet wood floor, you know how slippery it can get. So it can get a little slippery. I will say that with the wood handle, your hands are not meant to slide. And so as far as transitioning smoothly from side to side, it can be a little difficult. Okay, so we have that gata, and then yeah, yeah. And then we have this kata. This kata was made by my good friend and Steel Mace Flow student. His name is Justin Brown. And Justin Brown lives up in Colorado, but I did get to hang out with him here in Austin. Now, he didn't make this specifically for me. He made it for his own practice and also to feel what a heavy mace felt like. The company that we worked for at the time didn't make a mace over 25 pounds, so Justin thought it would be a fun idea to build his own gata. This one's built in the same way that the last one was made, except for this is not a wooden handle. Justin was a little worried about the handle popping under the strength of the heavy stone that was put together. And so here is the stone. You can see how big it is. This is a heavy mace. And I would say it's not a traditional gata because it has a steel handle. And the head of it is some type of plastic. Ooh, there's a spider on here. The inside is filled with cement, and I will tell you guys that this is a very fun mace to swing. It is a very good mace to do traditional moves with, and if you guys don't have a heavy gata, you can totally make one. I think this one weighs in at 30-something pounds. I don't have a lot of room, but let's give her a couple swings. I haven't warmed up today. I'm super proud of myself for being able to nail these swings. If you've never held up a heavy weight on a very thin pull, it is quite a unique feeling. It's quite something for your body to go through. Wow. Also, this is a gata, so typically the moves we're going to do are the 10 and 2s, but you could definitely move through a whole assortment of moves. One of the things I love about this steel-handled gata is moves, yeah, like the press, are still doable, and you don't feel like you are going to pop the handle. All right, let's talk about grip. The grip on this mace, it actually has a grip tape because what was happening is the sheer force of the mace and the thin handle, and no pommel. Justin's hands were sliding off of the mace, so he added some grip tape. Now, Justin added the grip tape so he could focus on his swings and the other things and not worry so much about the grip. Plus, I think it's a good precaution if you've never swung something super heavy. This is an awesome way to help give yourself some belief that you'll be able to hang on to the mace. A negative thing is if you do work out with this mace for quite a while, just like any athletic tape, it gets a little sticky. So my hands, need a little wash after using this for a while. But still is good for that 100 to 200 rep range if you're doing swings. As far as universal workouts with the mace, because of the sturdy wood handle, you can still do awesome things like uppercuts and wherever else you want to go. Swing ability, I think this is an awesome mace. I'm going to rate it another 10 out of 10. As far as handling goes, I'm going to give this one a couple bonus points for being a metal handle, which gives us a lot more room to do stuff. But because of the bulbous head, it really does limit some of the things that we can do with the mace. Because the head is so big, we have to make extra clearance when we swing. And so I'm going to lose a couple points there. But overall, I'm going to rate this mace. Let's be nice. Let's give it a 7 out of 10. Also, this black head is shedding. You can see all those white marks on there, which is a sign of how much I've used it. All right, it's been used. So we absolutely love our heavy metal Agata. Any questions? Let me know. Okay, moving on to another heavy mace. Boom, 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 boom. Oh, this thing feels so light now that we've been down the heavy mace row. This is the Onnit 20-pound steel mace. Now, I've got a full collection of the Onnit mace, the 25 all the way through the 7. I don't really use the 7 too much, but I do use the 20 and the 10 extensively, a lot, a ton. As far as mace goes, I think once you get into this design, which I will say has been popularized by the Onnit Academy, and there are so many different companies who make replicas of this exact mace, exact dimensions, because Onnit did a really good job of creating something that is universal and fit. Not only can you do exercise movements with this mace, but it is also one that you can flow with. Now that you got into the workout size mace, or the American mace, as I like to say, the handle, the flowing Dutchman. Yeah, shout out to the flowing Dutchman and Mace Flow. Shout out. Awesome. Glad that guy is doing his mace adventures. One thing that you'll notice when you go from galas to traditional or to traditional workout mace is the handle width is different. This guy is about double the size of both of my gatas, and so that's one thing you're going to notice immediately is that the handle is different. Now I can tell you something, the thinner handle is a lot gentler on your thumb and a lot easier on your wrist. But that point is quickly taken away because of the size, the heaviness of the mace. And so it's a very unique thing to feel a thin handle and a small head of a mace. The inch and a half thick handle, I strongly believe, helps you take in one of the finer points of training with the mace, internal torque. The thicker the handle is, the more internal torque you'll have, which is a great way to develop your accessory muscles. And once your accessory muscles grow, it gives your bigger pulling and pushing muscles, pulling muscles, I should say, a chance to grow because they have support. And so I strongly suggest that you do get an inch and a half thick mace. I absolutely love the Onnit mace. All of the Onnit steel maces, not one has let me down. They've been remaking. I usually buy the cheapest thing, but I got a 10-pound mace, and I'm totally happy with it. That is awesome, Angelo. We'd love to hear it. Yes. I will say, now, if I'm going to give this guy a grip rating, the grip on it is absolutely my favorite. Out of all the mace I've ever used by all the different companies, and there's a lot of them, the handle on the Onnit steel mace is the best. Here's some fun facts. The Onnit mace used to be a gloss finish, and now it's a flat black finish. The gloss in the original steel mace was tearing off with the friction of the hands. Matter of fact, the gloss created a stick instead of a slide. And so on it, because they were getting complaints about the paint coming off of their mace, and also filling it themselves, they switched to this flat black, and it is smooth. When I switched over from the sledgehammer to the steel mace, one of the first things I noticed was how easy my hands would slide up and down the mace. They didn't stick to the mace. Although my hands slide, I do have the ability to grip. The grips on this is a fine little finish that makes this beautiful sound when your hands go over them. Now, I have seen throughout the years, I have seen a very thick handle, meaning there's a lot of buildup in the knurling, and I have seen a very thin knurling. Me personally, I like having a thick knurling because it does add a certain sound to your practice. And as time goes on, your hands do wear those things down, so it's nice to have grip when you've been using your mace for 2 or 3 years. As far as strength training goes, I don't think you can get a better mace out there. Well, I will say on it is one of the least expensive, especially if you use promo code SAVAGE. You can save yourself 10 or 20%. I don't remember what it is. But as far as affordability, it's the least expensive you can buy. As far as quality goes, it is the best quality you can buy. As far as customer service goes, if you have a mace come to you that's dented, scratched, dinged, you don't like it, you decide it's not for you, on it has been around long enough. Ooh, I love that press. That they'll give you your money back or replace your items. They're not a small company, and the nice thing about doing business with a small company is it makes it easy for them to complete customer service. Flowing. If you want to flow with a heavy mace, I do strongly suggest that you spend some time getting to know your other mace, your lighter mace. But that doesn't mean it's not possible. There have been a ton of people who have created flows with heavy mace. I know for a fact that every steel mace student from time to time picks up a heavier mace to see how it feels. I'm absolutely in love with this mace. I give it a 10 out of 10 in design, in grip, in flowability. What does it not do well? Anybody? I love it. 10 out of 10. Great mace. Let's move on. Oh, this one's fun. Speaking of the flowing Dutchman, this was a gift from my student, or student of Steel Mace Flow, the flowing Dutchman. I like to consider this a European mace. I got it from Europe. And just like we were talking about the last mace, the finish of the mace has a lot to do with the quality of the mace. Let me get close to you. Now, if you look on the handle, what you're going to see is a lot of eroding of the grip. Matter of fact, it's the paint that is leaving the mace, not necessarily the knurling. The knurling's still there, but there's a bunch of paint missing. This is what I was just talking about. This mace was glossy, which I got to tell you makes a good photo, but your hands, even now, my hands are sticking to the mace, and honestly, I'm not a fan of it. I am not a fan of it. I like a flat finish, no gloss finish in the mace. However, this mace I truly, truly fell in love with. It is about an inch longer than a traditional mace, so I have to wait just that extra fine second for the mace to swing. It is just about 10 pounds. Who's this made by? One of my favorite things about this mace is it's got a super flat top, and that top is very wide. So out of all the mace, this one tends to stand up the absolute best. Now, as far as the paint leaving your mace, who cares, right? It looks cool when the paint is off of your mace. here in Texas, we have this thing called moisture, and so rust happens whenever steel shows. And so that would be my only complaint about this mace. I'll give the swing ability of it an absolute 10. Not only swinging from the top, but swinging from the bottom. Because the mace, and I don't know if you noticed it, is thin in the handle, it is a lot easier on the thumb and the wrist, but you don't get as much internal torque, which is one of the key ingredients in building strength. And so a thin-handled mace does have its benefits. One of the things that will drive me away from the mace is where its center balance is. If center balance is too far towards the center, it takes away from, well, everything we love about the mace, the asymmetrical build of it. Whenever the asymmetrical build is not longer asymmetrical but symmetrical, the mace does not flow very well. And that's not the case with this mace. This mace is awesome. This was the mace that helped me understand why people would like a thin-handled mace. Now, if you get a mace in Canada, you get a mace in Europe, most of the mace, the 10-pound mace especially, have a thin inch 0.25 thick handle, which is the same width as a barbell. And so this is the same training weight as, or the same handle diameter as a barbell. So it almost makes it feel similar in some regards. You can definitely do all of the mace moves. You can definitely flow with this thing because that extra long handle, it actually stands out a little bit in the crowd. I rate this mace 10 out of 10. It came from a very special friend. I'm so very happy. I'm so very happy that I have this mace, even though it's a little rusty and the handles are losing its paint. It is one of my favorite maces to train with, to practice with, and reminds me of my good friend, the Flowing Dutchman, the Flowing Harbert. Absolutely love that mace. Angelo asks, is Steel Mace Skater Chick one of your students? She flows with a 15-pound Onnit mace and works out with a 20. Yes, and started out with a 10-pound mace that's Steel Mace Flow certified and has been practicing Steel Mace Flow for a very long time. So we're big fans of Steel Mace Skater Chick. Also, she streams live workouts on TikTok. There's a distinct advantage to having a thin-handled mace. Like I said, it's easier on your wrist. Internal torque is managed to a lesser degree, but it does take away from some aspects of working out with the mace. I think personally it's just a personal preference. Also, if you have a really small hand, you might actually like the thinner mace more. Let's continue talking about thin mace. Boom. This is an 8x adjustable weight mace. Now, I think as long as they've been making mace, they've tried to figure out ways to make the mace adjustable. And this one, it's a little bit of a process, but you unthread this, and the weights are right here. There's a couple of them on this one, and you thread it back in. And boom, you can go up and down weight. I will tell you that this is such a cool thing about it. It's plus and minus. Whenever you add mace to this mace, it gets taller. The taller the mace, the longer your swing is, the more you feel your mace, the yada, yada, yada. You get it. The shorter your mace is, the faster the swing. Right on. And so this one is one of the rare maces that will actually grow in height. Most mace, when they get heavier, the head gets wider. This one doesn't get wider. It just gets taller. Now the screw that drills into the, or that goes into the mace, it's long. I mean, it's super long. It's like this big, which is great because you can pile more weight on. But I will tell you, adjusting it to use a different weight is like, it's a job. Like if you're doing a set and then you want to change mace, it's a lot easier just to grab another mace. You just grab another mace, or you can, boom, screw this on, screw this off. Either way, it is an awesome mace. Out of all of the mace I have, this mace swings the 360 the absolute smoothest. I like to use the term like a hot knife through butter. This guy swings great. It has a pommel on the hands, and so there's not a lot of grip that you have to do. You can just lay your hands against the bottom and let the pommel do the work. And while that is nice, you don't have to grip your maces tight, which means, well, there's less muscle to be gained. But this is the mace they use in competition when they do their 10 and 2 competition or their 5-minute swings. The handle is almost equally balanced from point A to all the way at the end. It's extremely balanced. It's not until you start putting heads on that it does become off balance. And while it is an amazing swinging mace, I think it's going to go right down my back. And I don't even need to make room in my knees for a big head of the mace. Boom. I love this mace. Because this mace is one of the best swinging maces, I think it honestly provides the least amount of challenge in swinging, which can be great. If you swing this mace for 5 minutes straight and give a max effort, you will get your heart rate up. And, well, you'll feel like you've been through a workout, honestly. And that's a beautiful thing. As far as flowing goes, I love this mace for the reasons that it is thin. And because it's thin, it does wrap under the arm very well. It does take a little bit of time to get used to, but that doesn't mean you can't flow with it. I think you can flow very well with this guy because it's made out of handle, or because it has a thin handle and a solid thin handle. You can still do all of your moves that you want to do. Voila! It does have a flat finish, so your hands do slide very well. And this is an American-made mace. You'll notice it's American-made when you get into the price. This is, out of all of the maces, the most expensive mace. And it does do some stuff, and so we are very proud of that. It adds weight, and we are very proud that it is American-made. The guy who makes this is a super awesome human. His name's Don. We absolutely love this mace. I would say it's a little bit more one-directional. Just as the Agata is kind of one-directional. When this mace was created, and I don't know, I could be wrong, but I believe it was solely for swinging. It wasn't necessarily for doing all kinds of different moves, like the on-it mace, but boom, absolutely love this mace. Thin-handled. I am against the pommel on all maces. I think you should have a good grip. I am not into the pommel. However, this one has a hole in it. And the nice thing about the pommel having a hole in it is anything that's inside the mace will come out the bottom. I don't know if you've ever had a mace and it makes a little ring when you swing it because there's something trapped in the center. Kind of a funny thing, but that doesn't happen in this one. Voila! Thin-handled 8X mace. We've kind of been through all the thin-handled mace. Oh, maybe not. Maybe not. This is our Australian mace. We've got maces from India. We've got maces from America. We've got handmade mace. We've got gift mace. This is the Australian mace, and it's short. It's the shortest of the full-size mace that I have. So when I swing, everything is very fast. The handle is also very thin, which does lead to being easier on the wrist. I think it's balanced extremely well. The balance is really up close to the head. I absolutely love the color of this mace. It is blue, but it is a flat finish, so your hands do slide up and down. Absolutely love this guy from Synergy. Boom. 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 Stay right there. I realized I'm missing a mace. One second. Hey, kitty cat. Hey, Papa. You want to come or what's up? Oh, you are coming. You do want to come hang out. Okay, Butter's going to hang out with us while we do this. And I've got a private lesson coming up, so we're going to wrap this up here in the next 10 minutes, but we are back. All right. The brother to the Australian mace, boom. You'll notice that these guys are the same colors. They have about the same handle length, and they're about the same size. This guy right here, up until on it, there was no close, nobody was close. This was, the on it mace has always been my very favorite until I got to try this Synergy mace, and I have found so much value having an ultra light mace. Now this guy, I love it. It's 2 kilograms, so about 4.5 pounds. I have continuously not advocated for Butter. Could you? Thank you. You know what the deal is. I've continuously not advocated for mace lighter than 10 because I didn't feel like it really added anything to the art. And that's my experience with hands-on. I've got my hands on a bunch of different mace. There's some I like, some I don't. The ones that I tend not to like are the ones that have been thin and not a lot of weight. They haven't really been into it. They really haven't challenged me in the way that the thicker handled mace has. However, this mace is balanced so well that it demands my technique to be just absolutely perfect, and you will be happy to know you cannot buy one of these. These guys are all sold out. I want to thank my YouTube army for buying every single one of these mace, which we're going to call the Baby Savage. No, Little Savage? Little Savage or Baby Savage? What do you guys think? I think we're going to call it the Little Savage mace. Little Savage. And I think it's an awesome training mace. It does so many things. The number one thing that I will give this mace props for is the amount of creativity, the injury-free creativity that this mace gives. Now, because it's shorter, because it's not long, because it's thinner in the handle, the internal torque is a lot less. And so, as far as experimenting goes, hey, let me see if I can do this. Okay, and then I'm going to bring that in. Okay, I'm going to go around. Okay, from there, I'm going to do this one. All right. Wait, how did I do that? I went this way. I went this way. I went here. I did this. And then I did this. It is effortless. Now, me as an instructor, as a teacher, going from student to student to student, it is nice to have a teaching tool that I can do proper technique on, but I don't have to beat myself up all day. I absolutely love this mace, and I do believe we're going to be selling this mace production line. Savage Mace is coming. Yeah, I think we have plans to sell this guy, and I can't look. See, I grab it, and I keep going. Okay, so we absolutely love this mace. If I had to rate it, the on it mace right here, and then just level with it, or maybe just a little higher, is the blue mace. And hopefully we'll have some information on when we can get that to you, if it ever comes out. Boom. Okay, we're going to go over 2 more mace, so thank you guys for hanging out with me so very much. Let me introduce you to the same mace. They're just different ages. This mace here is about 8 years old, and this here mace might be just a few months. Well, I don't know, maybe 6 months. But it's the same exact mace. This is the very first mace I got. This is Ryu. You can see that the paint has kind of left Ryu, even though we've taken very good care of her. And then this is a brand new on it mace. The only thing that's changed in between the years, and it's a very slight difference, there's a little bit more of an arc right here, as this one there's not. But it's absolutely my favorite mace to use. Well, I don't know. I can't. It, I, you know, I love it. What can I say? I'm an Onnit fan. I'm an Onnit Steel Mace fan. I think they did it right the first times. So does everybody else who makes mace. Everybody else who makes mace has this exact design. Remember, promo code SAVAGE will help get you one of these badass maces I absolutely love. Not only can you flow with it, you can build strength with it. There was a time where I wanted to know how strong I could get only using a 10-pound mace. And that was in my 30s, and it was so much fun. We swung the shit out of our 10-pound mace, and we grew in strength, we grew in mobility, we grew all the way around. It was 360 degrees of growth. My favorite mace. You know what? You are my favorite mace. I mean, this one is, but you're a close second. All right, now time for the moment we've all been waiting for. I might have missed a question from you. What makes you talking about? All right, what's in the box? Brad Pitt, you know. Bum 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 bum. Oh, also, now that we've hit number 51, Still Makes Flow Education number 51. Well, some cardboard in here. There she is. All right, so yes, now that we've reached episode 51, what do we do with the channel? We're thinking of uh-oh. Okay, that's it, huh? Okay. I'm actually gonna keep this box from my buddy. Side note, I did not buy this mace. It was not a gift for me. I have a student coming into town from Australia, and he sent me this mace. So it's not really a mace, is it? He sent me his mace, or he sent me this mace, so when he goes back to Australia, he can take it with him. And I don't know if this is a mace or it's a bulova, but what it is, it is a small version. Okay, so this is called the Arc, I believe, but it's the same designer who built this mace, Donnie from 8X, so it's American made, which I'm sure it's expensive, but it sure is cool to see. This one's got a little bit thicker handle, and it's got a different finish. It's got the finish that the rest of the mace have on it. So it seems like, well, seems like a mace. Now, I don't know what this thing feels like. It's kind of like a half of a mace, which makes it very tuned to one-handed movements. I'm sure you can do two-handed things with it, but there it is. Tiny 8X mace. And this one operates the same way. You unscrew the top, which I'm sure is a lot less. Let's see how long this takes. I'm getting my forearm pump. Getting a forearm pump. Bicep pumping too, baby. Yeah. I can't believe we're still doing this. Oh, there it is. Boom. Boom. And you put your weights on, and then screw back in. Yeah. All right. Well, one should have many tools. I haven't really got to use this one yet. But the nice thing here is they make a device called the Hydra, and I do imagine that you could put the Hydra plate on here. Well, you could put really anything on there, I think, and then tighten it down. Voila. My tiniest mace that I have. Ooh, it's nice for swipes. Actually, I think this is called a Bulova. Anyways, there's my new mace, or my buddy's new mace that I will do whatever I can with. It's so tiny. Okay, well, that was kind of a, you know, is what it is. And that's that, guys. There are a ton of maces to choose from. I would say whatever mace you get. Couple things. Don't let it identify you. All right? You can do whatever you want with your mace. Now, I know some of these maces were made for swinging heavy. Some of these maces were made for flowing. Some of these maces couldn't decide if they were for flowing or swinging heavy. All right? So you got the in the middle mace. Don't let your mace define you. You can do whatever you want with your mace. I myself got extremely strong only using a 10-pound mace. I will say the advantage to having a light mace or an ultralight mace is the refinement of your skill. You will get a lot better as far as technical skills go with a lighter weight. Few reasons. One, it's not so much wear and tear on your body. You can do a ton more reps. And you can make errors without the heavy weight punishing you. There are some disadvantages. You have to really be in tune with yourself and your technique if you want to grow in strength with a smaller mace or an ultralight mace. The heavy mace is beautiful, it's big, it demands perfection out of your techniques. If you don't get your techniques right, it'll tell you. It'll tell you. My elbow. So, so the big mace makes you responsible, and it can humble you. Because the mace is so big, it will keep you away from going into fancy, extravagant patterns. That may be a good thing, may be a bad thing. I'll leave that up to you. I would like to say, no matter what mace you swing, you're part of, in whole, the mace community, which is part of another community, the fitness community. Now, when I got into unconventional training, it was kind of to cast shade on my experiences with traditional weightlifting and the way that people traditionally worked out. And I don't think that was the right way to go about it. Recognizing that we are all in this fitness adventure together, no matter what size mace we use, no matter if it's mace flow or steel mace flow or mace movement or whatever. Guys, thank you so much for spending some time with me. I hope you enjoyed this edition of Steel Mace Education number 51. And honestly, guys, we just did 50 moves. We did a 2-hour video that you guys can watch, episode 50. If you guys want a ton of techniques, you can jump into that. I promise you, though, when we get back into episode 52, we will have a flow for you to learn. That's right. I'll be teaching you a flow. Thank you guys so much for being with me today. My name's Leo Savage. You guys take it easy. See you next time.